Alright, let's talk about Gorgo from 1961, the British answer to the Japanese monster craze kicked off by Godzilla in the 1950s. Now, I'll admit, when I first heard British kaiju movie, I had my doubts. How does one take a genre known for towering city-destroying creatures and infuse it with that stiff upper-lip British sensibility? Well, the answer is simple. You make a giant, angry sea monster wreak havoc on London while the British just sort of stand around saying, "Oh dear, that's a bit of a bother, isn't it?" For those who don't know, Gorgo is the story of a prehistoric sea monster who gets captured by humans, put on display like some carnival sideshow, and then, surprise, surprise, its even bigger, angrier mother comes looking for it. Chaos, as you might expect, ensues. But let's dive into the nitty-gritty of what makes Gorgo a hidden gem in the giant monster movie pantheon. The film starts with two treasure hunters, Joe Ryan, played by Bill Travers, and his partner Sam Slade, William Sylvester, who are out doing their thing off the coast of Ireland when a volcanic eruption shakes things up. During their seafaring adventures, they stumble upon a strange, underwater creature that looks like it swam straight out of a nightmare. Naturally, because it's a monster movie, their first instinct is to capture the thing and sell it for a quick buck. What could possibly go wrong? The creature, which they later named Gorgo, is brought to London to be displayed at a circus, because that's how you handle sea monsters, apparently. What they don't realize, though, is that this is just a baby. Enter Mama Gorgo, a giant, 200-foot version of the original, who's less than thrilled about her child being paraded around for human entertainment. Mother Gorgo comes storming into London, and the result is what you'd expect. Buildings get flattened, the military is useless, and everyone starts wondering why capturing a sea monster seemed like a good idea in the first place. What sets Gorgo apart from other giant monster flicks of its time is that it actually gives its creature some emotional depth. Okay, let's not go overboard here. Gorgo isn't exactly writing Shakespearean soliloquies, but the film takes the time to show that these creatures aren't just mindless, destructive beasts. Baby Gorgo isn't attacking people because it's evil, it's scared and confused. And Mother Gorgo isn't just rampaging for the fun of it. She's on a rescue mission. It's like Finding Nemo, but with more property damage and fewer talking fish. This mother-child dynamic adds a layer of sympathy to the monsters that you don't usually see in these kinds of films. Sure, they're smashing landmarks and making a mess of things, but they're not really the bad guys here. The real villains are the humans who thought it was a smart idea to put a giant sea monster in a cage for entertainment purposes. Who's the real monster now? Huh? Let's be real. No one watches a 1960s monster movie for the nuanced performances or Oscar-worthy writing. We're here for the destruction, the rubber suits, and the special effects. And you know what? Gorgo actually delivers on that front. Sure, the effects are dated by today's standards, but for its time, Gorgo manages to pull off some pretty impressive stuff. The miniatures used to recreate London are solid, and when Mama Gorgo starts ripping through buildings, it's surprisingly satisfying. The suit design for Gorgo itself is, well, it's a giant rubber monster suit. It's got a distinctive look that sets it apart from its kaiju cousins like Godzilla or Gamera, with a more reptilian, amphibious vibe. And let's be honest, part of the charm of these old monster movies is seeing the seams. You know it's a guy in a suit stomping on model buildings, but that's what makes it fun. One of the cool things about Gorgo is that it shifts the typical setting of these monster movies from Tokyo, or some vague, nameless American city, to London. There's something amusing about seeing Big Ben and Tower Bridge get flattened by a giant monster, and the British response to the chaos is just as reserved and polite as you might imagine. Even when they're fleeing for their lives, there's still a sense of keep calm and carry on running through the crowd. It's like they've all decided that, yes, this is terribly inconvenient, but we've been through worse. The military response, however, is classic kaiju movie stuff. Tanks? Useless. Fighter planes? Might as well be mosquitoes. Giant nets? Please. Nothing stops Mama Gorgo, and watching her demolish everything in her path is the kind of cathartic destruction that makes monster movies so much fun to watch. What's surprising about Gorgo is that, despite all the destruction, it has a bit of a moral compass. There's a clear message about the dangers of exploiting nature for profit and how humans are often the architects of their own demise. You can almost hear Mother Gorgo thinking, if you just left us alone, none of this would have happened. The movie doesn't beat you over the head with this message, but it's definitely there, lurking beneath all the rubble and chaos. And in the end, it's not the military or the scientists who save the day. Gorgo and her mother are victorious, and they head back to the sea, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. It's kind of refreshing, really. The humans mess up, and the monsters get to have their moment of triumph. No sad ending where the creature gets blown to bits, just a giant sea monster reunion and a "we told you so" vibe hanging in the air. So, is Gorgo worth your time? Absolutely. It's a fun, campy slice of monster movie history that stands out from the crowd thanks to its British setting, emotional monster family dynamic, and solid special effects for the time. Plus, it's not every day you get to see London get stomped by a giant, angry sea lizard. If you're a fan of classic kaiju flicks, or if you just love watching old-school destruction on a grand scale, Gorgo is a must-watch. And hey, if nothing else, you'll walk away with the knowledge that if you ever come across a glowing meteorite and a weird sea creature, maybe just leave it alone. Trust me, your city will thank you later.